Welcome everyone. We are going live now. And if you can see and hear me clearly, please drop a yes in the comments. Welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on whichever part of the world you're joining us from. Welcome, thanks for joining us. All right, let's get into it. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's live webinar hosted by Jobs. Um, we are going to speak on the art of communicating with confidence, speaking clearly, and owning the room. My name is Mariam, and I'm the head of growth at Jobs. I'll be your host for today, and we have a very brilliant speaker lined up, a proper Q&A session, and we are going to keep things sharp and practical. So, a quick note before we start, this session is live on both Facebook and YouTube. And if you have a friend or colleague who struggles with with speaking up in meetings, in interviews, in their everyday professional life especially, please share this stream with them right now. The link would be in the comments in 5 seconds. Let's get into it. So, before we get into today's session, I want to do a quick icebreaker and I want you to actually participate. Please drop your answers in the comments. So, here's something very interesting. Researchers have found that people tend to communicate in four distinct styles and they map them into colors. They are four in number. So, at the end of this, I would love for you to determine which color you actually belong to. So we have the red color, we have the yellow color, we have the green color, and we have the blue color. So the red, those who fall under the red are usually direct. They get to the point, no small talk, and they are results focused. So you actually know a red person because they'll say exactly what they mean and move on. And when it comes to the yellow people, they are the energetic ones. They are enthusiastic and expressive. They love people and ideas. A yellow person lights up a room just by walking in. Are you yellow? Then comes the green. This one is the calm one. They are usually quiet and I the person everyone feels safe talking to. So a green person would actually hear you out before they say a word. Then lastly, color blue. This one is the detailed one. They are usually thoughtful, precise, and needs all the information before they speak. So a blue person will think carefully before they open their mouth. Now, no color is better than the other. Every team needs all four, but most of us lean towards one. So tell me in the comments, which color do you think you are? Red, yellow, green, or blue? So you can take just 5 to 10 seconds to drop it in the comments. Okay. So interesting. So, whatever color you are, today's session is going to help you communicate better from that place, not change who you actually are. Work with who you are. So, let's get right into it. I'll start by introducing jobs, a startup we've been building. So, we are building jobs because we believe behavior is the missing layer in how organizations develop people. And if there's one behavior that determines almost everything else at work, whether you get heard in a meeting, whether you are taken seriously as a leader, or whether you close the deal or lose it, it is how you communicate, not your CV, not your qualifications, but how you show up in the room or on the call. So this session is about giving you practical tools for exactly that. And the person I'm about to introduce you has spent years helping individuals and professionals like myself do this. So I'll hand it over to him shortly. But before that, let me properly introduce our speaker. Our speaker today is someone who has dedicated his career to one thing, helping people find their voice. Bashir is a public speaking and confidence coach. He has spent years working with individuals who have something valuable to say, but have let fear, self doubt, or just not knowing how to how 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 to get in the way. I hope you understand. You just don't know. You just don't know how to do it. You just don't know how to say it. So this is what I mean. So what I appreciate about Coach Faiz is that he doesn't just teach technique. He helps people go deeper. People like myself actually, because I struggle with communicating. Sometimes I tie this to how I was brought up. um you don't you Even if you want to express yourself, you fidget, you try to think twice, because you've always gotten this query that you are talking without being asked. More like when you're saying something, expressing yourself, they would say, okay, who asked you? All those kind of things, they kind of get you to shut down. They would break your confidence, and you just somehow grow up not being able to communicate. Well, this is my own case. I don't know about you. Fear speaking in stage. People told me that I sounded like I was crying. That wasn't the first time actually, but I didn't really put myself in rooms where I would present, communicate. And this is why, if you're still in school, I would advise you engage in public speaking, engage in presentation. Don't run away from those things, because they would build your confidence in such a way that you would never know until you find yourself in the room, or until you land yourself an opportunity to speak and you realize you can't do it, except otherwise you are born with the confidence. So he helps people break free from stage fear, finding their own authentic voice and learning to speak in a way that actually moves people, not just sounds good, moves people. So he has run several online sessions delivering exactly this kind of training. So he knows how to make this land in a room like this one. So, coach, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for the introduction. I say good day to every single one of us, both those that are listening to me now and those that will be listening to us over time. Please, I want to confirm, am I audible enough? Am I clearly audible enough?
Yes, you
Miss
are.
Mariam, thank you so
Yes.
much. I'm super excited to be here today, and it's really a well done job to you for organizing this webinar. For some times now, my mind has been here. In fact, today I knew I had to cancel a lot of things just to make it here. And that's because this topic is something I hold with so much importance. And your objectives for bringing up a group like this, an initiative like this, is really appreciated. Thank you so much for that. For every single one of us who are here with us live, and another thing I also appreciate with this webinar today is I believe anyone who is not joining us now can have access to the videos over time, isn't it? So that's
Yes.
very good. Thank you so much for that. So if you are here with us live, or whenever you have opportunity to have access to this video, I welcome you to this session to this afternoon. And I promise you, this is going to be one of those sessions that would open your eyes. Your eyes were open before, but would open it more to see the reality. Because when it comes to communication, one of the illusions we have with communication is that we think it's just a skill that is meant for public speakers. Am I right or wrong? We always think when it comes to communication, I don't really need to develop myself in it. Whereas communication, I want to make it known to you this afternoon that it's a way of life. It's not just about you developing a skill. It's a way of life. And what do I mean by that? When I say it's a way of life, it simply means every single thing about your life evolves around communication. Let's take some instance. Let's say you are a businessman or a businesswoman. Is there a way you can transact with anyone, either buy something or sell something without communication? Absolutely no. If you are a family man or someone who is trying to build up a family, you will agree with me that before you marry someone, some set of communication had preceded it. And the same way, for you to maintain and build up your family, communication can never be underestimated. Making another instance, can take a look at yourself also. When you have a thought or a feeling, am I still with you, Ms. Mediam? Can you hear me loud and clear? Please, at any interval when the transmission gets broken, kindly let me know. Are you with me? Think. Hello? Since I've lost. Okay, I think we are live back. Hello? There is sort of interruption in the network. Sorry for that. Hello, Miss Mariam? Hello? Okay, am I back? I think that
Yes.
was okay. I thought
Yes, that
the
was a
network
technical
was
glitch.
all right, no problem. So what I was trying to say in essence is that communication is a way of life. And also the way people perceive you is based on how you talk, how you communicate. If you're seen as the kind person, it's simply because you're saying kind things. You are the type that says things that are good. The same way, if you are seen as the bad person, it's also due to the way you communicate. So by and large, communication is your life entirely. It's not something you take with levity. It's something you should be intentional about. And that's why I once again congratulate and appreciate the organizer of this webinar and every single one of us who are here today to improve our communication skills. Thank you for having me, and I welcome you to this webinar. I am Faiz Bashir by name, just as I've been introduced. I won't really say much about myself. Let's just go straight into what we have for ourselves today. Communication. Communication. When you say the art of communicating with confidence, there are two things I would want us to have at the back of our mind. And the first thing is that sometimes as humans, we have a lot of things to say. It's one thing to know what to say, And it's another thing to know how to say what you wanted to say. There are two things, two different things. You can have an idea, an opinion, a thoughts in your mind, but how do you want to bring that thought into reality so that anyone who is hearing you, who is listening to you, can understand exactly what you are trying to say? That's communication. And there's another one I added to it personally. It is that saying what you intended to say the way you wanted to say it. If you are the type that you've been into public speaking, you've engaged yourself in public speaking, probably large crowd or some few people that you are speaking to, you would realize that sometimes it happens. You prepare for a presentation, you've prepared your slides, your message, every single thing that you need to say. You've prepared everything absolutely well. Upon getting to the stage, upon your arrival on the stage, something can happen. And then you realize you lost your ground. You're unable to say what you wanted to say the way you intended. And that's why I added the third one to it, which is saying what you have to say, knowing how to say it, and being able to say it the way you intended. These three things are very, very important, and they'll guide our presentation and our discussion this afternoon. How can we bring out our opinion, our ideas, and how can we say it the way people are going to understand? There's a short story I would like to narrate to every single one of us, and I want you to follow me carefully on this. Two graduates went for an interview. They were seeking for a job. So they got an interview at a particular company. The first person, for the sake of the context, let's give him the name Tunde. Are you with me? The second person, we call him Ibrahim. So Tunde and Ibrahim, they went for interview for a particular job, particular same post. They have the same qualification. They went to the same university. And on the day of their interview, they were told to introduce themselves in just brief seconds. You know, when you go for interview, that's usually the most common question. Introduce yourself. And at that point, a lot of people lost their ground. I'm talking about the reality. So for these two individuals, the first person, who is Tunde, he had in mind that I would present myself as much as I can. I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to sound great. Let me say what exactly I have to say. He had that in mind. Why the second person, who is Ibrahim, he felt, oh, I'm in front of the CEO of the company. I'm in front of great men, great people. How will I present myself? How will I say what I wanted to say? That won't sound stupid. I won't sound somehow irritating. He had all those things in his mind. And guess what happened? The first person introduced himself with the thought he had in mind. He was able to introduce himself. People clapped for him. The second person, who already had some doubts in himself, also came on board. But before he came on board, his hands were shaking, his voice were trembling. In fact, he was already sweating profusely. And as a matter of fact, he was unable to say what he wanted to say. Now, if I may ask you, what do you think is responsible for the results both of them had? What do you think is responsible? It's simply their mindsets. What went into their mind, the things they had in mind before speaking. So that's why I'm saying this to you also, that your mindset forms the basis for your communication. If you want to be a confident speaker or a confident communicator, what goes on in your mind is very, very important. And if you don't treat it, I can assure you that every single thing we are going to be discussing today might not really be of benefit, because it all revolves around what goes on in your mind. One interesting thing I want you to know about this mind is that it's very, very neutral. Do you get what I said? Your mind is very, very neutral in the sense that if you believe something is possible, you are good, you are right. And the same way, if you believe something is impossible, your mind doesn't argue with you. It believes that that is what you want. So if you are here and your mindset is fixed on I can be better. I can be a confident communicator. I can't express myself in a confident way. I can tell you that you are as good as what you are thinking about. You are right. And on the other hand, if you believe there's room for improvement, I don't need to be a great person before I start to be a great person. I can start learning to be a great communicator. I can start improving myself, this and that. You are also good. So by and large, whatever you have going on in your mind forms your mindset. So what are those things that influences one's mindset? I will give you just about two or three practically. Those things that made some people say wrong about themselves, that no matter the amount of presentations they attend, are you with me, Miss Mariam? If they are here with us, they already have this mindset that, okay, let me just come here to see what they have to say. I don't think I can be better. People are like that. If you go to their phones, you see a lot of videos they've downloaded, a lot of webinars they've attended. But because what is going on in their mind is not changed, there's no change in the outcome. So, what are those things that affect one's mindset? The first thing is the fear of judgment. I have some list I put down here, so as not to go out of context. I'll be going through them. The first one is fear of judgment. Usually, we are always afraid of what people will say, isn't it? If you are going on to present in a crowd, I used to be a public speaker. I used to be the kind of person that I've talked to hundreds of people, thousands of people, and a lot of people. And the usual thing that goes on in our mind before stepping on the stage is, how will people perceive me? Once people say, hey, this person is this, we start forming some assumptions in our mind. And guess what? Most times, these assumptions are negative. I don't know where that theory comes from. It's usually negative. We don't say good things about ourselves. You never see someone saying, oh, I'm going on to speak to people, and people will say positive things about me. We are always thinking of the negative, of the negative, of the negative. And the more we think of the negatives or the negativity, the lesser our confidence is. Because when you're thinking of failing, then your confidence to speak with courage reduces. Are you with me? So, your fear of judgment, what you think of what people will say, is very, very important. Never think bad. I want to give you an instance. I want to interact with my facilitator, Miss Mariam. Are you with me? I want to ask you a simple
Yes,
question. Are you with me?
yes,
Yeah.
I am with you.
Okay. Let's assume you have a program that you're invited for, maybe next week. Let's just fix next week as an instance. A program that maybe one of your favorite famous speaker is coming in town to come and present a topic. Now, on that day of the program, you dress up, you are prepared very well. You put on your best clothes, you have to travel down from your house to where the presentation is going to take place, this and that. Now, one question I would want to ask you and every other person that is also here with me is that, are you going there to go and look for the flaws of the presenter, or you are going there to go and gain knowledge and to go and hear what the person has to say? Which of the two?
I would be going there to gain
Exactly. And
knowledge.
that's the reality for many of us. When we purchase movies, maybe online or anywhere, we are not watching those movies to see the flaws of the characters or the actors and the actress. We are watching it for entertainment, we are watching it for any other purpose. The same way, when people are coming to come and listen to you, it's very, 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 very wrong and somehow, like, we don't understand. How would you now think people are coming to come and watch you? They will leave their house, they will spend as much as they can just to come and see your flaws. It's somehow impracticable. So that's exactly what I want you to know. That when people are coming to come and listen to you, they are not coming for a negative way. They are not coming to judge you in a negative way. It is your brain, it is your mind that is giving you all those assumptions. And if you don't clear it out of your mind, I can tell you that no matter how well you prepare for your presentation, there will be a lot of flaws because of what you had going on in your mind. That makes it the first one. Please don't forget fear of judgment. And the second one is that as humans, we have gone through several things in life. While we were young, there are things we tried, we failed, and just because we failed at those things, we never want to try them again. Why? Because of our past experiences. So past experience, the experience someone had in the past. I think I remembered when you were introducing yourself for the program, you made mention of sometimes ago when you spoke at a place, something like that, and people criticize you, they probably make fun of you. That's very, very
Yes.
cool. In fact, the same thing had happened to me that I cried so much. People told me you're speaking like a rapper, you're speaking like this and that, just because then I'd not really improved myself in communication. So it's usually the same. When people judge you based on how poor you were in the past. But now you have gone through some series of training, you've improved yourself, you've become better. So you can't expect that the same way you performed in the past is also the same way you'll be performing now. It's not really best. You've grown, you've become better. So don't let your past experience affect you presently. The past is gone. The present is what you should face. So don't bring those memories of while I was speaking back then, people laughed at me. In fact, I was shivering on the stage, my hands, my feet, this and that. No, no. Use what you have now to deal with the reality. Making it the second what? The second point. And to move away from this mindset so that we can also touch some other things is that your environment and upbringing also matters a lot. It matters a lot, rather your environment and upbringing. You know, some of us we are so fortunate to grow up in an environment where our family members they are the type that encourages discussion among their children, isn't it? You know that some family are like, oh, what do you have to say? Let's challenge your authority. Say something about this. Tell me what happened in your school today. Tell me what happened in your day today. They encourage that in their children. And as a matter of fact, those things gradually build the confidence in those children. But some other family, my sister, other family, if a child is trying to speak up, do you know what they do? Can you guess what they do?
Them down. You
They
shut
shut
them
them
up.
down. Exactly. Shut them up, shut them down. Just keep quiet. So they have a call coming in. Keep quiet. What are you trying to say? Don't you see others here? Why are you trying to voice out? So all those things gradually kill the confidence of a child. While I was serving some months back, where also in a public speaking training like this, and I knew someone, an elderly person for that matter. She said one of those things that affected her up to present is as a result of the way her family brought her up. They do not allow them to communicate, to express their minds. So all those things are some of the things that affect people and their confidence with communication. I hope you are getting it. And let me round up with this final one, which is preparation and knowledge. You see, there is a way you feel confident when you know what you want to say. You get me right? There's the way you feel this confidence in yourself when you have a good knowledge of what you are coming to say. For instance, now I can't ask you to tell me your name and then you feel nervous about it or you feel scared about it because it's something you know very, very well. You can say it anywhere. I can ask you to read from A to Z, the English alphabet. You read that very, very well, confidently. And that's because you know how to read it, you know it very, very well. Someone who is not trained how to drive, if you give them the key to drive, without training them, without giving them the knowledge that will guide them to drive very well, there's no way they will be confident with that. So knowledge and preparation also affect your mindset and how confident you appear as a speaker. Are you with me? Can you help me to reiterate the 3 points we've discussed for the sake of those who are joining us now? Do you have those points with you? Anyone? I want us to make it interactive so that I won't be the only one talking and speaking.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you
So
so much.
I agree with you when you say the fear of judgment actually ties us
Yeah,
down.
exactly.
So something about presentation is that, well, I think not just presentation, most aspects about life is fear of judgment. What would people see? What would people think about me? Believe me, the day you drop what people would think or say about you, I feel and believe you are 50 steps ahead in life, because a lot of things I achieved, if I had focused on, okay, what would people say? What would they
Hmm,
think of me? Wouldn't they do this or that?
hmm,
I wouldn't have moved an inch from a particular position. This is
hmm,
simply because I know that I am not doing anything wrong. As far as you are not doing anything wrong, as far as you are not saying anything wrong, then believe me, even if people judge you, they won't judge you forever. They won't dwell on judging you forever. So you do what you need to do and move on. That is the first point. So for the second point, past experiences shape our
exactly,
mindset.
exactly.
This is true because just like our speaker said, when you try something once or twice and you fail at it, you become discouraged. Unless of course you are someone who is resilient to an extent and you are actually motivated by something, because sometimes people push through difficulties through motivation.
Exactly.
So unless of course you
Exactly.
have a motivation or it's something that you believe is the best course for you, it would be difficult for you to go for it. So if you want to be a public speaker, even at 50, believe me, it is not late. And something we don't know about skills, whether it is communication, whether it's communication, teamwork, collaboration, they are a set of habits. Some people are born with the talent. Some people grow up in the right environment where this helps shape their behaviors, because these are habits. Uh, a year ago from now, I couldn't speak freely like this in a webinar, not even in a webinar, in team meetings whereby I communicate with my employer or other team members. I can't do this freely. In fact, I don't even want to be called to speak, but I decided to push beyond my boundaries. Why? Because I know it is something that takes constant practice. It is something that would take time to build, and I can't just learn this. I can't perfect my skills by reading about it, watching webinars without practicing. When I was job hunting, I couldn't simply introduce myself on a call like this, but because I knew that I needed that job, I had to practice. I had to practice consistently. I had to practice offline. I had to practice because my life depended on it. Like I did it as if my life depended on it, which is actually true. And this is a history because I'm building something that would help you build these habits and gradually become your skill. And believe me when I say communication is what you need, not just in your personal lives. You need it professionally. You need it to interact with elders. There are environments you will be in where when you speak, someone will see you as coming off being rude. Someone would say, okay, you don't have good manners. And this is largely due to environment. This is largely due to how you are being brought up. And like I explained earlier, um, you may try something, it doesn't work. That doesn't mean you don't try again. You keep trying. You keep trying as far as what you are doing is good. You definitely overcome whatever fear you have. And so that is the third point I just shared. So I think we can now get into Q and A. Can anyone hear me? Please let me know in the comments, because I think our speaker is having a um internet glitch, technical glitch rather. Uh, Are you with us?
Yes, I'm back now.
Okay,
I joined with
okay,
the what we call the YouTube link. I could see that you're still talking.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that's
thank
okay
you
now.
for joining us
Okay,
again.
can I
So
continue? Okay,
yes, yes, you
you're still
can.
speaking. Yes,
No,
thank you
you
so
can
much for
speak.
the book summary. I appreciate that. Now we have a lot of people who are now having this thinking, okay, how can I improve myself? How can I become better? I'm having a poor mindset. How can I get a solution to that? The first thing I would want you to do is that start to replace the negative thoughts that comes to your mind with the positive ones. Instead of saying, I can't do this, I can't do this, say, I can do it. People are coming to laugh at me, people are coming to make jest of me. Rather, change all those things and replace it with something positive just to increase your self-confidence. And another thing is focus on the value. You're not coming to impress people, you are coming to express yourself. And that's one thing I always somehow appreciate about myself. It is that when I'm speaking to people, I try as much as possible to be expressive enough, not impressive. Are you with me? Am I still audible? Yeah. A lot of time we are so much concerned about ourselves. We are so much self-conscious. Self-consciousness is too much for us. We're like, hey, how am I dressed? How am I going to appear? How is this? Everything is focused on yourself. You are too focused on yourself, not even about people that are coming to listen to you, whether what you are saying, they understand it or not. So reduce the focus. I'm not saying you appear anyhow on the stage or you appear anyhow in a meeting, but rather, whatever you want to say, ensure that you focus on how people will understand, how you express what you have in mind, and not otherwise. I hope all those things, or those two things, will also help you to improve and get a positive mindset. And finally, learn from your mistakes. I can't assure you that after this webinar, your next presentation is going to be awesome. I can't assure you that. In fact, your next two webinars might not be very good. They might be woeful, they might be poor, they might be very, very, like in a very weird way. But just one thing is just that try to learn from whatever mistake you make. And that's the best way to improve or to get better. So those three things are also important for you to have a positive mindset. Now, we'll be moving on to the other thing that affects one's confidence, and that is your body language. Now, when you appear in front of people or you appear in one-on-one conversation with someone, the first thing they study, they look at is what? How you present yourself, how you appear. Before you say your words, people judge you, people perceive you based on your appearance. Let me use appearance as a whole because your appearance also covers how you dress and how you carry your body. All those things, people don't pay attention to it. Miss Mariam, do you know that? People don't pay attention to it. And lately, I came to realize that when you dress in an improper way, it definitely affects your confidence. It reduces the
Yes.
confidence you have in yourself. I've seen this over time. If you're
Yes.
having an official gathering and you realize that the clothes you are putting on is totally different from what every other person is putting on, or your clothes is not really neat, and you are called to come and talk in front of people, there's a way you won't have that confidence in yourself. So you try to appear as neat as possible. You try to appear in the best of manners, and then you should be conscious of your body language. Some people will come onto the group. I'm trying to relate this with stage because when we talk about confidence or communication, we usually don't have much problem in one-on-one conversation with people. If you take a look at those who call themselves introverts, how many minutes do I have more so that I can know how to complete my presentation? How many minutes?
Yes, you have about 10 minutes more.
10 minutes, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I can go to some other important. So how you present yourself when you stand onto the stage, there's a way you place your hand that makes you look like a confident person. If you place your hand at the back, it already shows you are coming there unprepared. If you put your hand in your pocket, it shows it is respect. If you put your hands, you fold your hands like someone like this. I don't know whether you can see the way I'm putting my hands. You fold your hands on your chest. Is all this posture doesn't portray you as a confident person. You need to free your hands, put your hands by the side. Otherwise, you can lock your fingers in front and demonstrate, use your hands, this and that. I believe that is clear. So your body language also speaks a lot on how confident you are perceived to be by your audience. I hope you're also going to take that into consideration. And the third thing that I also want to talk about is your language ability. Yeah, language ability. One thing is, if you would ever be given an opportunity to present, for those of us who speak multiple languages, maybe Yoruba, English, Hausa, Arabic, you agree with me that we used to have a language, particular language, that we are so confident in ourselves to express ourselves. Do you believe that? Some people now, if you tell them to narrate an incident in their native language, in their local language, they can express it to the point where you'll be wowed. But tell them to speak another language, it turns to be tug of war. So language also, it also affects how confident people. Someone like me now, if you tell me to say all what I'm saying now in another language, in my native language, I might not be as expressive as this, as confident as this, because I find speaking English a little bit easy for me than any other language. So you too, you try as much as possible to wave or ask yourself that which language am I confident in? Which language can I express myself better in? That's also going to help you to become a confident speaker. And because of time, I would want to emphasize on this last point, which is your listening skill. If you want to be a good speaker, you want to be a good communicator, you must also be a good listener. A good listener. Have a listening here. A lot of people, when they're in a communication, when they're in a conversation with people, they are only listening to people to respond. They're not listening to understand and to give an adequate feedback. They're only listening. Okay, say what you have to say so that I can give you a response, whether the response matters or not. And all these things also, it does not show you, does not portray you as someone who has a good mastery of communication. If you are the type that you are always waiting for people to talk so that I can give them response, then you are not, cannot be categorized as a confident speaker. So you must develop a good listening skill. Have the ability to understand what people are saying, see exactly what points or perspective they are speaking from, and then if there's anything you can add, there's anything you can also chip in, then it's also going to be easy for you to speak on that. So because of the little time we have, I believe these few things we have discussed about, it's really going to help one or two people on how they can start to become confident in themselves with the way they speak and the way they express themselves. Because confidence itself begins in the mind. That's one thing I want you to take home with today. Confidence begins in the mind. And when you start to believe in yourself, every other person believes in you. If you don't believe in yourself, then how do you expect other people to believe in you? Equally, when you have opportunities to speak, you had been pre-informed before now, before that time, don't take preparation with levity. There's a particular quote, I don't know whether I can remember it clearly. It says, proper preparation prevents poor performance. Try to prepare
Exactly.
adequately. Yeah. Manage your fear and practice consistently. All what you've listened to today cannot be helpful to you unless you put into practice. With this, I want to appreciate every single one of us once again for the time, for the patience, and for your contribution so far in this conversation we have today. And to the head of growth, Jobs, Miss Madam Adamu, thank you so much for having me. I look forward to having more interesting session with you. I'm so much grateful for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Coach Faiz. Thank you so much. That was genuinely insightful. Um, we are going to move into Q&A now briefly because we have just 15 minutes. So um, please feel free to drop questions, comments in the comment section. We are ready to dissect them all. So so the one I usually get asked a lot is, what do you do when you go or when your mind goes blank mid presentation?
Can I answer that? Or you want to put everything together?
Okay. Okay.
Can I answer that
I think
now?
we can go with, yes, you can.
Okay. You come again. You said, what do I do or what can one do when your mind go
Oh,
blank while presenting?
yes, exactly. What can one do when um your mind when their mind goes blank mid presentation?
That's a very good question. I think I've answered that multiple times also. See, one of the things that you cannot avoid on stage, there are several things you cannot avoid on stage. One of those things is forgetting your lines or forgetting what you intend to say. And before I even give you some approach or some method to adopt, I would want to warn against memorizing, cramming. You see, it's one of those things that affects people a lot. When you cram, when you memorize your line by line, when I come, I will say this exact statement. There's one thing with memorization. When there is a little break in chain, it becomes
Yes.
difficult to continue. And that's where you see people
Exactly.
just getting stopped because like something is missing and they find it difficult to join it together. So cramming or putting all your words in head the way you want to say it is not really the best. Rather, internalize your message so that you can express it in any way. I just branched to that. Don't always try to cram. There are several ways you can internalize your message. What do you do when you go mid blank, when you forget what you want to say? The first thing is have this in mind. This, I discovered it as one of the most powerful things. I don't know whether I came across it in a book or it came from my own inspiration. I don't really know, but it has really worked best for me. And what is that? You see, the day you understand or the day you realize that your audience don't know exactly what you want to say until you say it, that is the day you feel free. You won't have any challenge with whatever you want to say. And what do I mean by that? All what I came to say here today, no one can preempt or presume or assume to know what I want to say. Whether my 4 points, whether I had 4 points to discuss with you, you don't know. Whether it was three, you don't know. So if I come and I intend to speak or say three things here and I forget the third one, I can simply move on without letting you know. Okay, I'm going to be discussing 3 points with us today. I mentioned the first one, I mentioned the second one. I can be like, okay, to save time, I forgot the third one actually. I can say to save time, I would want us to move to another section. You don't know what I have to say. Or maybe I did not even tell you the number of things I want to mention before. The first point is this, the second point is this, the third point is this. Now we are moving to another section. But what people do most times is when you forget something, you see them usually going blank. And when you go blank, when you keep quiet, when you raise your eyebrows up a little bit, you already signal to people that, oh, this person had forgotten what he wanted to say. I would have loved us to demonstrate or practicalize that a little bit, but there's not enough time. So one of those things I do is I will move on to whatever next thing I have in mind to say, just because you don't know what I want. And if it is that you have what I want to say on the screen, then there's no point for me to forget. Maybe I'm sharing my screen or I'm using a billboard or anything to demonstrate. So that's the first thing. The second thing, or is that enough? Should we move on to
Yes,
the
please
another
carry
question?
on.
Okay.
Yes,
The
carry on.
second thing is that usually I think I mentioned it a little bit when I was describing also. When you want to mention three things or four things, you had arranged that this is going to be the number one, this is going to be number two, number three, number four. And now you forgot one of them. Maybe you forgot one of those things which you had in mind. There's no problem in you bringing the one you remember in front. And you, later on, if you later remember that one that you forgot, you can say it. For instance, I want to discuss about three types of presentation. The first one is the prepared presentation. This is the kind of presentation where you have the resources, you are informed, this and that. That's the first one. The second one, let's assume I've forgotten, but I remembered the third one. Instead of keeping quiet and looking at the skies, looking at people's eyes, trying to remember, I can say that the next part is the impromptu presentation. And this is a kind of presentation where you were informed maybe on that particular day, or you're not really aware that something like this is going to be going on. You're just called out all of a sudden. That's the second. So while you are speaking on that, you are trying to go back. Probably you can remember that thing that you forgot. Or if you have your notes with you, I would love us, maybe another time we can even dwell more on this particular topic because it has a lot of explanations within it. I'm just trying to rush it due to time. It could be that you have your note with you, but your note is a little bit far away from you. Maybe you had dropped it on the podium and you were someone like me, whenever I'm presenting, I try to walk in front of people, I walk around people. So you forgot your point at the point where you were among people. So you mentioned the second one, try to take your steps back where you add your notes. By the time you finish explaining the second one, you already add your notes. Then you cannot tell them the third point is this. No, that you thought what you wanted to say. I don't know whether those things were actually clear enough for you to understand.
Yes, yes, exactly. It's it's clear.
So
Okay, so I got three more questions here.
those main point I want to bring
It's
out in this is
it's
that don't
it's
allow
okay.
like I see.
Okay.
The network
Okay, thank you very
is
much for
breaking.
that. So yes, the network is breaking. I don't know if
Can
it's
you hear
from my end
me?
or yes, yes. Yes, I can hear you now. Are you with us? Are you with us? Um
I can hear you now.
oh, okay. So I got three more questions here. There's so how can someone overcome
Okay.
stage fright? And there are two more questions
Yes, I'm
after
with
that.
you.
Okay. Okay, should I ask them all?
Hello, I'm with you.
Yes, I know you are together with me. Should I ask the questions all together at once or
Okay.
one after the other?
Okay. Okay. How can you overcome stage fright? Whichever one I can.
Yes.
Did I answer this? We take it all together. One after the
Someone
other, so that whoever asks the
okay,
question
okay.
get the answer. There is a little bit. Hello,
I'm with you.
hello.
I'm with you.
I can hear.
That is the point I just shared.
Hello.
Yes, I'm with you.
Are you with me now, Miss Mediam?
Yes, yes, I'm with you.
Okay. Sorry, the network
Yes, I understand.
is
Okay, so before
breaking.
you answer the question, there's a gift for the attendees. Please do not leave
Okay.
right after the fourth question has been answered. I'll drop a link that would help you determine which type of communicator you are, or it would help you do that. So it's a PDF that you can download and go through, take the points, and you would determine what type of a communicator you are. So please, you can carry on,
Okay.
coach.
Now the question you asked, I think before I lost the network, the question you asked was what again, please?
How can someone overcome stage fright?
Okay, how can you overcome stage fright?
Yes.
So one thing you should understand about stage fright is that the fear of speaking does not really come directly on this. There are several that comes before then. And that's why we categorize stage fright into three categories. The fear before you appear on the stage. That's one. The fear while on the stage itself, and the fear after leaving the stage. So these levels requires you to deal with one after the other. Requires you to deal with them adequately. Before you come onto the stage, that's all what we have been discussing several on. The mindset, you try to clear your mindset, you try to replace all the negative thoughts going on in your mind with positive ones. Now, when you are on the stage, while you are presenting, a lot of things can happen that can cause you to be scared. It could be the reaction from your audience. It could be due to technical issue. Maybe the microphone you are using broke or disconnected all of a sudden. That can cause something, some kind of instability within you. It could be that you got challenged from an audience. All these things can cause stage fright. But one thing you should try to always do is that try to maintain your composure. If anything happens, breathe, pause a little bit. If you're confronted by a person with a logical question or a confronting question, you don't need to rush or feel maybe scared. Just breathe in and try to gain your ground. Understand what is really, really going on. If the network got broken or anything happened disconnected, you don't need to panic because panicking or being scared does not fix any problem. It only makes things worse. Just for instance, now when you're discussing, the internet got disconnected. Now,
Yes.
for me to now start quivering and start like disturbing myself, trying to fix this and that, I will later get destabilized. So what I'm trying to say in essence is when it happens while you're on stage, you don't need to panic. You don't need to disturb yourself. Look for the possible solution. If there's anything you can do to fix it, do it. And if there's nothing you can do, it's none of your problem. But what comes on your mind before the presentation is what we've discussed so far. Try to fix that. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, that was quite insightful. So I think we might just be able to get to the third. So for someone who's naturally introverted, is confident communication something you can actually learn, or is it personality?
Okay. For an introverted person, when you say someone is an introvert, it simply means they are not used to people. There are people who are not, yeah, they are not really socially exposed, isn't it? That's what leads to being an introvert person, an introvert or an extrovert. And like every other thing, see, all those things are a series of habits. I think you made mention of it earlier on. There are series of habits. There are things you've done several times for so many years and has become part of you. So if you want to change it, habits can be changed. It just need you to practice new set of habits. Start talking to people one after the other, maybe from 2 or 3 people, till the point where you get used to talking to many people, and that you are going to break free from being an introverted person or things that is associated with that. And that's one of the major mistakes people make. They believe since I'm an introvert, I cannot really break out of it. It's just an habit you've practiced or you've been trained with over time. Practice new set of habits and you become a confident speaker. That's just what I have to say on that.
So the last one, I hope we don't get kicked out. So the last one said, what's the one habit that separates a confident communicator from someone who struggles?
The one habit, do you say habit?
Yes.
The one habit that separates a confident communicator with someone who struggles, for me, I would say is the continuous habit of learning. Yeah, continuous habit of improving themselves. So a confident communicator is someone that at over time practice how to express his opinion, his thoughts, his ideas in a certain way. Why a struggling person is someone who is also practicing but had not yet reached that level of mastery as a confident person. So that habit is common to both of them, but how long one has been developing his own and maybe so that person is just recently developing his own. Those, I mean, that can be the difference between both of them. Just keep improving and keep learning. That will make you also a confident speaker one day.
Yes, indeed.
Learning
Thank you very much, Coach Faiz. On behalf of everyone watching, thank you, and we genuinely appreciate your time and the insights you shared.
is
So this is exactly the kind of conversation we want to keep happening. Now, if today's session sparked something for you, I want to tell you about what we are building at Jobs. So Jobs is a behavioral learning platform. Remember I said um the your character is shaped by your habits. I mentioned this earlier. So our skills, the way we communicate, the way we interact with others is actually a set of habits which we practice consistently. If I don't speak to people confidently, there is no way I would be able to until I change my habits. Maybe when I start speaking to one person today confidently, then to two people, then increasing the numbers consistently. So, what does this boil down to? Um, Continuous practice. You practice continuously. You learn from your mistakes the way our speaker said. So Jobs is actually a behavioral learning platform, meaning you get a platform to, interact with freely. It would help you build those habits, those behaviors, so you become the best version of yourself, whether it's personally or professionally. Though we are building for the workplace, but it is something you can use to build your interpersonal skills, because communication, whether it's communication, in fact your personality doesn't belong to the workplace only. It doesn't belong to your community or environment. It belongs to everything, whether it's your home, whether it's another country. You need those skills. And that's what we want to help you do. So we are building courses that don't just teach you concepts. They walk you through real workplace scenarios. Like I said, we are building for the workplace. So we are building for professionals with AI guided reflection after each lesson. So you can actually see your own behavior change over time. Believe me, for someone like me um who is not confident speaking in the public, I would get something that would actually help me overcome stage fright, because I would be able to interact with it like I am on stage. That is exactly what we are building. So confident communication is one of the core competence we are building around, and that is why I brought a webinar about communicating with confidence. So we are opening up early access very soon, so early users would get first access, and we'll be building this with you. Thank you to everyone who joined us today on Facebook and YouTube. There's a recording which the coach asked when he joined. There's a recording for anyone who would love to revisit, or for those who would love to share with their friends. Please share the recording with someone who needs to hear this, especially the points we shared, our speaker shared, and the questions he answered. Kindly follow us on all platforms so that you would know when the platform is about to go live, or when we are inviting people for early access. We are at Jobs. I would leave that in the comments, and I think we are running out of time already. So this would be on screen until we end the session. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your time, and we hope you gained from this session. So we'll see you at the next one. Have a great Saturday. Bye for now.